With all of the negative headlines dominating the news these days, it can be difficult to spot signs of progress. What makes you optimistic about the future? People here are talking about cancer cure here. Stanford Medicine made the biggest breakthrough in history just last month. They cured 90 out of 90 infected mice with different kinds of cancers with just one shot of medicine. Solar energy desalination gene therapy. All 7 of my honeybee colonies are currently surviving the winter, and today they're bringing in the first pollen of the year. Added also, please support native bees for why and how at home. Check out Bringing Nature Home by Douglas Tallamy, as well as butterflies like the monarch, and bats. The good news is often quiet and subtle. The bad news is always loud. I try to remember that. The possible return of the American chestnut tree. Fast-growing, rot-resistant and, perhaps most important, it produces enough calories from the nuts to feed a population. Added it turned out that someone from WBUR in Boston saw the interest in this post and wrote an article and made a podcast about it. It's very good that old chestnut. As someone who has lost loved ones to cancer, my students. They handle a complex, globally interconnected society in ways my generation undergraduate at university in the 1970s couldn't hold a candle to. Any color, any sexual orientation, any disability, any all good, so long as they're not an asshole. We may be approximating Dr. Martin Luther King's hope for a world where people are judged by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. Bee population is on the rise. If we could work together to save the bees, we can deal with climate change. I haven't heard much about ISIS recently. That's gotta be a good sign. Advancements in medicine and gene therapy. The CRISPR technology has me very excited. Also, the James Webb Space Telescope is going to bring about many new discoveries. Advancements in health studies and science for health has improved living conditions tenfold and continue to do so. So that makes me pretty optimistic. Space. So much is unknown right now. Excited to see what can come in the future. Understanding of history. We are at a certain point in time, during which we are well aware of what happened in the past. This is a newly available, highly useful feature of our generation. Hopefully it lasts censorship. That we're almost at the point where we get artificial organs. I could use a kidney. Edit guys, thanks a lot for your support, understanding and most of all the selfless offers you've made, Bella to kidney or info. I love you all. Edit 2 I wish I could share some resources on how to be a living donor. If someone could help me in that front so I could share it here. I'm not from the States and I don't know where to start. This is the most humbling experience I've had on Reddit yet. Edit 3 Thanks to you Ranyarukas for this resource on living donation and to you Tambourine Time for this other resource. Please, if you're thinking of donating, have a look at these resources. Mental illness awareness is growing rapidly, and people are more and more willing to assist those in need. The fact that humanity is getting another mini space race going on. I'd love to see a man set foot on Mars in my lifetime that. And of course just getting to spend time with all my friends to play Dungeons and Dragons every week. Edit I'm fine with my top comment being about DD and do DD in space bois. I'm reminded of Sam's speech to Frodo in Osgiliath in the Two Towers. It's like in the great stories Mr. Ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were, and sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines it will shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something, even if you were too small to understand why. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back only they didn't. Because they were holding on to there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for. I'm going to nursing school and every time I hear about the advances in the medical field I get excited. Japan just approved a medicine that they claim can cure the flu in one day. The merging of medicine and technology is extremely fascinating. I saw a video of a prototype that was virtual scan of someone's body, inside and out. You could remove organs and see what was under them. If that can catch on it will dramatically help surgeons plan for more successful outcomes. Added to add video of scanner https U2 BGU64B49SK and link for flu drug. Shared collaborative projects like Wikipedia proving that people are inherently good. People are beginning to realize that things don't change on their own. More people are taking action to help out and change the world as a whole. The increasing easiness of traveling anywhere in the world. Edit this is what I'm looking forward to. Also, nice optimism you got there you Reddit bastards. There's still people like you that donates like half of their money every year, or whatever. Fist bump. Much to the amazement of the trauma surgeons who first received me at the hospital after I'd been found on the side of the road with a face full glass after being on the receiving end of a hit and run. I'm not brain dead, brain damaged, quadriplegic, paraplegic, nor did they even have to make me an amputee. I'm learning to walk again. The future is looking good. Until I have to go through the TSA again, that is. Edit before, 3 months after. JPG. My new worst case scenario is I need to sell some of my new titanium parts for scrap metal. Reruns of Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers. That every day millions of people go to work in order to provide for their families, come home, talk about inane things, etc. The world over consists mostly of people with similar wants and similar needs, no matter from where they hail or what they look like, and the vast majority of the time it just works. One tiny lapse in coordination and it could all come crumbling down, but mostly the world marches on. It's a brilliant blue ball of common humanity, and it pays to remember sometimes that for all that's horrible in the world, we're surrounded by a lot of good. Hi Bill. I think we're making great progress with renewable energy and I'm hopeful that my children's generation will have a chance to fix the mess we made. As someone with mental health issues, I love that the field is getting more attention and there's becoming less of a stigma of having a mental illness. The plummeting price of solar and wind energy. Edit. Thanks for the gold. I will be investing it in solar. I quit smoking today. Since 1990 the number of children who die before their 5th birthday has been cut in half, saving 122 million young lives. 2. In the same period, the fraction of people living in extreme poverty has gone from 1/3 to 1/10. 3. More than 90% of children now attend primary school worldwide. 4. Women now make up more than 1/5 of members of parliaments around the world. 5. Workplace and road safety in the U.S. has risen dramatically since our grandparents' time. Edit. I stole these from this article entitled Bill Gates. Here are 5 reasons to be optimistic about 2018. This has probably been my finest moment this year. This is the most peaceful time in human history. And it is getting better. The better angels of our nature. And the fact a billionaire has a platform to communicate 1v1 with everyday people. Thank you Reddit. Our uplifting news exists, and it still gets content. We should be circulating good news rather than constantly refreshing bad news. My dog, mainly. Internet forums like Reddit, where a one-line question can pump out 1,000 nice answers ranging from global improvements to cat pictures in 30 minutes. Also, my children and how they already have it better than I did when I was young. Even though I didn't have that much problems back then either. Keep on rocking as a great man, Bill. The growing acceptance of people who are different. It might be a long slow battle, but we are moving in the right direction. A lot of people are saying SpaceX and Elon Musk without really expanding, so I will. Commercial spaceflight. It's literally here right now, but it's going to get even cheaper in the future. The next step will be space tourism, but that won't be accessible to the average person for a few decades at least. Space construction. We've already done this with space stations, but cheaper commercial spaceflight will encourage larger buildings in space. Instead of launching completed modules like we have in the past, we're going to be launching subdivisions of modules that will dwarf even the ISS. I'm incredibly optimistic about whatever happens to be the next ISS. Asteroid mining. This one we probably won't see in our lifetimes, unless the futurists are right, and the first person to live to 200 is alive today. However, the potential of asteroid mining is astronomical. There are individual asteroids with more platinum and tungsten on them than the entire Earth has available. Once we have these materials in excess, who knows what new developments we'll see. Aluminum used to be exceedingly difficult to refine and rare. Once a reliable refining process was developed, we found a myriad of uses for aluminum that changed the world. I predict we'll see similar benefits from improved access to rare metals found abundantly in asteroids. Space tourism. Now that we've got commercial spaceflight, and space construction is on the horizon, space tourism will become a booming industry. I'd be excited to spend a week on a luxury space station in the future. Mars. We're definitely going at some point, whether it is publicly or privately funded. I doubt there are any monsters there, or that we'll have any visitors forced to grow potatoes with their excrement. However, Mars is the next logical destination for humanity's domination of the solar system. I hope I live to see the first colonization effort. Most countries are steadily but surely moving upwards on the Human Development Index. This change isn't very noticeable on a day-to-day basis, but over the course of decades the world is empirically becoming a better place. Not just in Western Europe, or in the prosperous bits of China, but in places like sub-Saharan Africa, which are throwing aside the historical weight of colonialism, civil war, dictatorships and genocides to become better places for people to live out their lives. The constant technological advancement we're seeing right now, especially in fields like medicine. Your work, giving away so much money, is truly commendable, and I thank you for it. The fact we still are allowed to have negative headlines. My Girl Scout troop. They bring me hope that the future generation gives a shit.